Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you doing out there today? Welcome to another exciting episode of The Last Science Show. It's Black History Month, and for the last few episodes of our series, I want to highlight black scientists that are making history right now. Yes, we have legends writing history right now. And as the legend Bishop Dr. William LaRue Dillard would say, we are writing history, let's write well. Therefore, the first black scientist making history today that I want to honor is Janelle Wellons. Janelle is a space engineer that is currently working at JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Janelle Wellons grew up in South Jersey, the eldest of two siblings. Her mother was a secretary at an oil and gas corporation, and her father worked in warehouses. When she was about 6 years old, she went with her mother on a bring your child to work day and spent the morning surrounded by engineers doing demonstrations for the kids. But as she grew older, Wellons realized that reaching her goals would sometimes come alongside prejudice. Wellons felt racial tension throughout her high school years, especially since she was often one of the few black students in her advanced placement classes. However, she did not let that stop her. The spring of her senior year, Wellons received a call from the MIT Office of Engineering Outreach Programs with the news that she'd been awarded a scholarship. Janelle Wellons graduated from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, with a BS in Aerospace Engineering in 2016 and now works at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. At JPL, Janelle works as an instrument operations engineer on the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, the Earth-absorbing multi-angle imager for aerosols, MAIA, and previously on the Saturnian Cassini mission. Her job consists of creating the commands for and monitoring the health and safety of a variety of instruments. She also works in development, specifically for the ground data system and instrument operations concepts for the MAIA mission. Wellons has a very strong work ethic, which she applies around the clock at JPL. She's on call 24/7 for the Diviner Instrument Reconnaissance Orbiter, sometimes getting calls at 2 a.m., and on one rare occasion had to rush to her laptop in the middle of a night out with friends. Wellons' typical day starts with checking on the health and safety of her instrument, or as she puts it, making sure it's alive and well. Then she'll work with the science team and, depending on what they would like to look at, help figure out if their requests can be met without putting the instrument's well-being at risk. Then she creates the commands that will be sent to the instrument. At JPL, Wellons balances gratitude for her career and awareness that being a black female engineer comes with challenges. To help spread the message of inclusion, Wellons is on the board of JPL's African American Resource Team, which she's helping revitalize. While Wellons often has work on the brain, she also carves out time to give back. Last summer, she spent 2 weeks in South Korea helping 3rd through 6th graders at Space Camp learn about extraterrestrial volcanic bodies, launch bottle rockets, and simulate rover driving. Looking back on what she's been through, Wellons remains focused on positivity and making the most of her time at JPL, seeking out mentors, gaining a wide variety of experiences, and setting her sights on making her voice and her vision heard. Additionally, Janelle serves on an advisory board for Magnitude.io, a company that creates project-based learning experiences designed for STEM education. She is also on the board for the Pasadena YWCA, heading the program's committee and developing STEAM activities for middle school-aged girls. Thank you, Janelle, for making history as I speak. Literally, as I shoot this video, you are making a huge impact on our Pasadena community and the world at large. It was an honor to honor a young black scientist that is making big moves today. We want to do more of that as we celebrate Black History Month, so continue to like, subscribe, comment, and share for more great content from The Last Science Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good science. The first black scientist we are going to honor is George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver was an African-American scientist and educator. Carver is famous for many inventions, including a number of uses for the peanut. George Washington Carver was born enslaved and went on to become one of the most prominent scientists and inventors of his time, as well as a teacher of the Tuskegee Institute. Carver devised over 100 products using one major crop, the peanut, including dyes, plastics, and gasoline. Carver was most likely born in 1864, enslaved in Diamond, Missouri, during the Civil War years. Like many children of the enslaved, the exact year and date of his birth are unknown. Carver was one of many children born to Mary and Giles, an enslaved couple owned by Moses Carver. A week after his birth, Carver was kidnapped along with his sister and mother from the Carver farm by raiders from the neighboring state of Arkansas. The three were later sold in Kentucky. Among them, only the infant Carver was located by an agent of Moses Carver and returned to Missouri. The conclusion of the Civil War in 1865 brought the end of slavery in Missouri. Moses and his wife Susan decided to keep Carver and his brother James at their house after that time. As she had been in high school, Jemison was very involved in extracurricular activities at Stanford, including dance and theater productions, and served as head of the Black Student Union. She received a Bachelor of Science degree in Chemical Engineering from the university in 1977. Upon graduation, she entered Cornell University Medical College and, during her years there, found time to expand her horizons by studying in Cuba and Kenya and working at a Cambodian refugee camp in Thailand. After Jemison obtained her MD in 1981, she interned at Los Angeles County / University of Southern California Medical Center and later worked as a general practitioner. For the next 2.5 years, she was the Area Peace Corps Medical Officer for Sierra Leone and Liberia, where she also taught and did medical research. Following her return to the United States in 1985, Jemison made a career change and decided to follow a dream she had nurtured for a long time. In October, she applied for admission to NASA's astronaut training program. The Challenger disaster of January 1986 delayed the selection process, but when she reapplied a year later, Jemison was one of the 15 candidates chosen from a field of about 2,000. On June 4, 1987, Jemison became the first African-American woman to be admitted into the NASA astronaut training program. After more than a year of training, she became the first African-American woman astronaut, earning the title of Science Mission Specialist.